being here. I know the governor's on her way. And I just want, before she gets here, to say a few things about amazing governor. I've known Kathy Hochul as a friend ever since she ran for Erie County Clerk. That's how long I've known Kathy Hochul to be a woman of distinction, a public servant to our community. And when she became governor, she immediately visited our community during COVID to make sure that we had vaccines. She was here in Chinatown, walking through Chinatown to observe all the small businesses that were hurting. And it's because of Kathy Hochul that we had $20 million of a downtown revitalization fund to help Chinatown revitalize and rebuild. Who did we get that from? Who? Kathy who? Kathy who? Thank you. So remember, that's all you need to do when you go in to vote. It's row A all the way. 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 So all the way down from Kathy Hochul, Ethio Delgado, you got our Dan Goldman, you got Grace Lee, you got Brian Kavanaugh, you get all the Democrats up and down the ballot. So what are we going to do when we go vote? Row A all the way. Row A all the way. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chung. Next, I'm going to introduce our Democratic candidate for Congress NY10, Dan Goldman.
The congressman soon to be elected.
Thank you. It's great to be here. So many friends, great turnout, and that's what we're going to need Tuesday. We are going to need a great turnout. And with these elections at this point, 4 days to go, this is going to be decided by turnout. Who gets out to vote? And what do we have to vote for this year? We have a lot that's on the ballot. We not only have the governor, the senator, the assembly, the Senate, we have the state Senate. We also have democracy on the ballot. We also have the right to choose on the ballot. We also have gun control and our safety on the ballot. We are dealing right now at the top of the ticket with one candidate who has accomplished so much in a year, who is all about ideas and solutions, and another candidate who wants to tear the state down, who is as extreme as Donald Trump, who has no solutions, no ideas, but just fear. And the reason why we vote Democratic on Tuesday is because we are the party of ideas. We are not the party of fear and hate. And that's why we need to vote blue from the top of the ticket all the way down so that we can preserve our democracy, our fundamental rights, and our individual freedoms, and so that we can improve the lives of everyone in this city and state. That is the only way that we are going to do that, and we need everybody here to vote, and we need you all to get everybody else to vote. Every vote matters. Your vote is your voice, and make it heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman soon to be. To my community, where was Lee Zeldin when there's so much anti-Asian hate? He was invisible. Where was Lee Zeldin when our elder and the children are attacked? He was invisible. Now he came to my community, to our community, wants to make a friend, wants our vote. Governor Hochul has stood with us all the way. The next speaker, State Senator Kavanaugh.
It's great to be here. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, very proud to represent Chinatown. I want to compliment, first of all, this man on his choice of T-shirt today. That's all right. Those are very limited edition T-shirts. But no, it's a lot has already been said about how important what we're doing. You know, voting is already happening, so You should, if you should make sure your neighbors know they can vote today, they can vote tomorrow, they can vote Sunday, and of course the big day is Tuesday. It is really critical for all kinds of reasons that the people in this room, obviously we all get out to vote, but also we get our friends and neighbors out to vote. The election, we have a governor who, right from the very beginning when she took office after the prior guy, stepped aside, began changing many of the priorities of this state for the better. We had a budget last year that was by far the most generous progressive budget that we have passed in the history of this state. It's been mentioned that we took steps to protect reproductive health, that we took steps to protect the environment. We are also investing enormous amounts of money in the basic things that people need. We have a $5.5 billion capital budget that we are going to be pushing out into our communities to make sure that people have decent, affordable housing throughout this state, and we know that's a critical need here. We have historic funding for our schools to make sure that all our kids are getting educated and that they can adapt to the difficulties that we saw during the pandemic. A lot of kids need more help than they need before. Kathy Hochul, and one of the first things she did was come here to this community to announce the largest downtown revitalization initiative grant in the history of this state at $20 million. And many people in this room have been involved in figuring out how to spend that to ensure that our businesses and our community really are supported going forward. The other reason it's important is we know that Chinatown's voice is very important here in this community. But the turnout of communities like this is critical to make sure that everybody knows that Chinatown and the Chinese community needs to be respected, needs to be represented, and needs to get the resources. So again, I'm very proud to be supporting the Hochul Delgado ticket. I'm very proud to be supporting our other colleagues, and it's great to see Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez here as well. But, please get out and vote, and please, so many great, wonderful leaders of this community here today. Please get out, get organized, and let's have a very big turnout on Tuesday. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Senator Kavanaugh. Next, I'm going to introduce the first Puerto Rican woman in Congress who has served this community for decades. Introducing Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez.
Are you fired up? Are you ready to vote? Number 8? Okay, so be ready, because we are going to send Lee Zeldin back to Long Island. And we're going to tell him that for us, the #1 priority is to save our democracy. And we cannot save our democracy by electing an election denier. And let me say this to you. We fight like hell in Washington. We fought so hard to secure the funding for our communities through the pandemic, right? Money, PPP loans for small businesses, money from the American Rescue Plan for the school, for the hospitals, and everything else. Who do I trust to be the one to make sure that the money will trickle down to our communities? Kathy Hochul. Yes. Kathy Hochul. So please, from today, tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday. You have Saturday and Sunday. You can vote and vote. If not, you need to come out and vote on Tuesday. This election is going to be very close. I don't want for any of you to get up Wednesday, November 9th, regretting the fact that we lost and that you stay home. We cannot afford that. This is too important for working families. Remember one thing? I always say that immigrants make America America. Yeah. And I can assure you that Lee Zeldin will never say that. Okay? So let's elect Kathy Hochul, vote the entire ballot, and support every Democrat that is running on November 8th. God bless you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Lydia. The next speaker, the Majority Leader of U.S. Senator, our beloved State Senator, Chuck Schumer.
Microphone 4, is that all right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's great to be here. I thank everyone for packing this room because you know how important this election is. The difference between our Democratic slate and the Republican slate is night and day. We care about middle-class people, helping them stay in the middle class and helping poorer people get to the middle class. They always seem to favor the very, very wealthy, and that's their main goal. We care about immigrants, and we believe that immigrants are important to this country. They believe immigrants are negative, and they're always attacking immigrants. We believe in the woman's right to choose. They are opposed to the woman's right to choose. We believe there has to be good laws to prevent the gun runners from sending their evil guns up here, and there be more crime from guns. We believe in that. They sidle up to the NRA every time that they can. Folks, anyone who thinks that this election there's not a difference between Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin, anyone who thinks there's no difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party has simply not opened their eyes. There's a huge difference. And the interests of working people, of middle-class people, I'll tell you another big one. We believe in unions. They don't. They're always trying to hurt unions, dismantle unions. In Washington, we want to pass something called the PRO Act, which makes it easier for unions to organize. They're opposing it every step of the way. So you look at all the things. You know, my grandparents lived not far from here, my grandpa. And he was a street urchin. He stole apples from the push carts. One day he walked into a place on the Lower East Side called the Labor Temple and learned about the union movement, became a union guy his whole life. And that helped him, helped my father, and that helped my father help me achieve what I did. My father was an exterminator. He didn't go to college. But because Democrats believed in the American dream, which so many of you represent as this wonderful Chinese American, Asian American community that has come to America and worked so hard and built a better life for your children and your grandchildren and great-grandchildren to be. No one has a great-grandchild here, right? Well, but in any case, we believe in you. That's where we come from. And the other side is trying to deflect these key issues. Who's for you, who's against you, who's on your side, who's on the other side, and tries to divert your attention. So I am urging, begging, pleading. The election is closer than people think in the gubernatorial side. And the only way we will not win it is if people don't come out to vote. We will win it, but we need you. You have a lot of say right now. Borough of Manhattan, sort of like my home borough of Brooklyn, has real say in determining this election. And that means turning out to vote. We know when people vote, they will vote for working people, for middle-class people, which means that they'll vote Democratic. But we cannot have apathy, we cannot have complacency, we cannot have a view that this isn't needed. So how many of you are going to get out to vote? Raise your hand. How many of you are going to ask 5 people, whether your family or friends, to vote as well? If we all do that, we're going to have a great victory on Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a great evening. Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Senator. Just introduce yourself.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. My name is Grace Lee, and I'm the Democratic nominee for State Assembly to represent Thank you to everyone who's here today. I see people from every neighborhood in Lower Manhattan today, and just really excited to see everyone here because we know how important this election is. As your neighbor and as an activist, you have seen me put my body on the line for this community. And as your next representative, I will fight to make sure that Chinatown recovers from this pandemic and we come back stronger than ever. But in order for that to happen, we need the best partner we can get in Albany. And that partner is Governor Kathy Hochul. Governor Hochul knows that for Chinatown to be strong, it has to be safe. And that's why she is committed to real policies for public safety. That is why she is putting more cops in our subways. That is why she is making sure illegal guns get off the streets. And that is why she committed $20 million to Chinatown in her first months as governor. Kathy Hochul is the governor we need. And I want to say, make no mistake, you will not see this same commitment from Lee Zeldin and the Republicans if they get into office. I want people to remember that when our Congresswoman, Grace Meng, wanted to pass a resolution to condemn anti-Asian hate in this country, Lee Zeldin voted no. He voted against the Asian American community, and he is not committed to helping see us do better. I want to say 40 years ago, Mayor Ed Koch came to the community and he built a jail in Chinatown against the will of the community, but he didn't care. He told our community, you don't vote, you don't count. And I'm here to say, Chinatown counts. And Governor Kathy Hochul is here to say that she cares about Chinatown. So on Tuesday, November 8th, my girls and I are going to be out there, and I want every one of you to be out there too, to make sure that our voices are heard, and that we make sure to elect our champion, our governor, Kathy Hochul! Kathy Hochul! Kathy Hochul! Kathy Hochul! Kathy Hochul! Kathy Hochul!
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for the reminder of why this election is so critically important. Wonderful to be here once again in Chinatown, the Lower East Side. I have spent so much time here, I could almost vote here. But I don't need to vote here because you're going to be voting here, right? Yes! We can do it early, take your time, have some bubble tea, walk in, have a nice experience, or you can wait till all the drama on Tuesday. It's your choice. But the point is, your vote does matter. This community does matter. And we know what you've been through. This part of our city was hit so hard by the pandemic. Even before the shutdowns, people are starting to not want to come here during the Lunar New Year parades. And I went to the restaurants, little shops, back in February of 2020, before the pandemic hit so hard everywhere else. And this community was already hurting. People hadn't come. The tourists weren't coming anymore. And I felt the pain. I said, no more. We have to stand up. And as soon as I became governor, I said, how can we help in a profound, meaningful way? And we allocated $20 million to help redefine your future, to bring back these communities. And I will continue doing that with the great leaders we have. And I want to thank all of you for electing others who worked for me in Washington and Albany. I want to first of all mention my great friend, someone I served in Congress with, someone who's a champion for small businesses and underserved communities, and that is our own Congresswoman, Nydia Velázquez. I know you just heard from someone who's the majority leader, not just our senator. He's the majority leader of the United States Senate. And because of that, Chuck Schumer has been able to direct so much more money for infrastructure, for our roads, for jobs, for education, and we are the beneficiaries. And I think he ought to leave, but don't forget to vote for Chuck Schumer on Tuesday as well. Our comptroller, Tom DiNapoli, is on the ballot. You're going to vote for Tom DiNapoli too, right? Our Attorney General, Tish James, is on the ballot. You're going to vote for her. And our Assembly candidate, Grace Lee, you're going to vote for Grace Lee, right? Harvey Epstein, you're going to vote for, right? You got Harvey covered. Senator Kavanaugh, Senator Biden Kavanaugh, thank you. Michelle Wong, I want to thank also Chung Seto. You have been my friend for such a long time. You have gathered people since 2014. You brought me to this community, and I want to thank you for helping organize this rally and being a true voice for this community. Let's give a round of applause for Sean Taylor. And Wade Lee, I want to thank you. What this Chamber of Commerce has done has given people hope. It shows that they have a community organization that is out there fighting for them. And you are just an incredible representative. I love going to your restaurant. I love coming to this community. You've been a true friend of mine. Let's give a round of applause for Wade Lee. Oh, I think our congressional candidate Dan Goldman was here too. You heard from Dan already? Okay. He's going to be great as well. We need him in Washington. All right, I don't need any more notes, okay? This is all about you. It's all about the kind of leader you want to have representing you in our nation, in our country, and particularly here in New York State. This is when it all matters, my friends. We have extremism on one side of the ballot. Someone who is cheering on Donald Trump when he says he's going to run in 2024. Okay, that's what's happening. Someone who is viewed as, by Donald Trump himself, as one of his staunchest, most loyal supporters, and also voted to overturn the presidential election of Joe Biden. Not only did that, he also sent text messages to the White House to help orchestrate the big lie, to convince Americans that the election of Joe Biden was not legitimate. That's how you undermine democracy. You're basically undermining America when you do that. It shows you don't care about our established traditions of allowing people to have a chance to vote and select their leaders. That's who Lee Zeldin is over here. And I've been out there fighting for your rights. I've been out there fighting for women's rights, women to decide control over their own bodies. I'm out there fighting to make sure our streets are safe, getting thousands and thousands of illegal guns off our streets. And we're making a difference. And Lee Zeldin has said, the way you get out of a crime situation is to give teachers guns in schools. His words, not mine. I didn't say that. He said that. He also, when he had a chance, yesterday asked to condemn a white supremacist nationalist organization that spews hate against all people, particularly communities like this. He refused to condemn the violence and condemn that organization. I just want you to know the kind of person who's running for office for governor. But I've been out there for you, fighting for you. I've been out there your voice. I've been your champion. I've been your advocate. I'm going to make sure that we bring more resources here because we're not through the hardest times yet. I can feel that. We have to help our small businesses even more. We have to help our families with the rising cost of living. It's getting to be so much. And the fact that we just don't have enough affordable housing in this community. You want your kids and grandkids to grow up in the community they're raised in? Everybody does. I'm a new grandmother. I want to have the babies near me. But the affordability crisis is too much. My plan, starting in January once again, is to bring the resources so we can start rebuilding our communities, allowing people to go into the vacant buildings that can be beautiful homes for people. Let's make this a place people can not only want to work, but can afford to live here as well. Those are my commitments to you. This is a community that's going to help propel me to the first time a woman has ever been elected. You're going to help make history. You're making history right here. And I thank you for that. We're not just doing it for me, though. We're doing it to make sure that the door is open for all the little girls out there. So they know there are no barriers. They can be anything they want to be. And you're helping us make that statement loud and clear right here with your voices, your vote on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out so often. Thank you, everybody.